Do you or your partner shut down and think, why bother? Hey there, I'm Sharon Pope. I help women who are struggling in lonely and disconnected marriages get the confidence and clarity they need to either fix the struggles in their marriage or be able to move forward without regret. If you like what you hear, I hope you'll subscribe.
People decide to get married, it means they've chosen each other to spend the rest of their life together. But then, several years into the marriage, what started out as two people being inseparable now becomes incompatible. My name is Sharon Pope. I am a master life coach and a 7-time best-selling author on love and relationships. I help women who are struggling in their lonely and disconnected marriages get the confidence and clarity they need to either fix the struggles in their marriage or lovingly release it without regret. You can go to clarityformymarriage.com to explore if there's a fit for you and I to work together today.
So today we're talking about why we shut down from one another and how to do it differently. We've probably all been in a conversation or a disagreement where one of us says to the other, well, why bother trying? I mean, forget it. I just won't say anything. Since everything I say or do is wrong, I'm just not going to say or do anything. So if it's all wrong, I'm just not going to do it. So here's why we say that. First of all, it's very the thinking that goes into it is very absolute. It's like, I'm either going to tell you everything I feel and I'm going to be completely honest about it without any necessarily couth or compassion or respect, or I'm just going to shut down and not say anything, right? When there's a whole bunch of gray area in there of how to have difficult conversations, how to express how you feel, how to express what you need, how to express what upset you, and be able to hear and have a dialogue back and forth with your partner so that you can come to some resolution or at least a better understanding of one another. So this idea that like, oh, well, why bother trying? Now, here's the deal. I get it because we've all been there. When we feel attacked or criticized, we'll shut down. We'll just be like, why bother? Why bother? Right? I hear lots of my clients who feel that way. And there are, particularly, this is a big deal for men. If they don't feel like they can ever win, they're never going to play. If they don't feel like there's a chance to win something, whatever win is in this scenario, then they're not going to play the game, right? So we stop trying, we give up before we ever really try. And we use the excuse of, oh, well, if you think I do it all wrong anyway, then I'll just shut up. I just won't say anything. All right. I think that this is a complete cop-out. And I don't want to judge it as like immature or something like that. I don't want to label it, but I do want to just say, look, it's a cop-out. It's not healthy. And you need to get equipped with tools, right? I always look at a situation like that and go, oh, they just don't have any tools. Now, I had this situation happen with a friend and I recently. So I've seen this happen in my clients' intimate relationships a lot, but it happens in every relationship where someone just sort of shuts down and says, oh, well, if you just think everything I do is wrong, then I'll just stop doing anything, or I just won't talk. I won't speak to you. All right, look, here's why I think it's a cop-out. Shutting down isn't going to resolve the issue. And it's not going to bring us closer together. Look, when there is a disagreement, which every single relationship has, I don't care if it's you and your mother, you and your sister, you and your next door neighbor, you and your husband, you and your best friend, like it doesn't matter. There's no relationship is free of disagreements. But we've got to be able to be equipped to have these emotionally relevant and respectful conversations so that we can better understand each other, because those are opportunities, right? And I think if you just shut down to it, first of all, you have no opportunity to understand one another better. You have no opportunity to then bring the relationship closer together, right? Because when a couple deals with something and comes through it, it can actually make them stronger as a couple, because they understand one another's perspectives a little bit differently than they did before, or they're a little bit more aware of the ways in which their words or actions impact their partner, which they maybe weren't aware of before. So that's the opportunity. And when you shut down to that opportunity, nothing good actually happens, except you save your ego, except you're able to stand in your righteousness and be quiet and be right. And why bother if I'm not gonna get my point across, or if you're not gonna agree with me, or right? So this idea of all or nothing, anytime you're dealing in extremes, you've probably heard me say this before. When it comes to relationships, the extremes is where the unhealth is, right? So for instance, I'm going to take this idea and I'm going to shove it down your throat. Like, you have to think like me. There's no other way to think about this. There's no other perspective. And if you have another perspective, you're an idiot. No health there. Or I'm just going to shut down to you. I'm not going to say anything because you don't agree with me. So therefore, I'm just going to shut down. Like, those extremes, there's no opportunity for healthy relationship there. Here's the good news. The gray area, the gray area has so much opportunity for health and for growth inside of our relationships. And that's just being able to be with a little bit of discomfort inside of a difficult conversation, to say, okay, well, I hear what you're saying. Tell me how that made you feel. And let's say that they give you they say, you know what, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that it was going to make you feel that way. I'm sorry. Well, then we can just take it as an apology and accept it. Now, I'm a fan of forgiving. I'm not a fan of forgetting, right? Like, you now know something that you didn't know before about that person. So it might be time to set a healthy boundary for yourself with that person. And it's okay. You're allowed to set a healthy boundary. And a boundary can be, hey, when I feel like you're trying to force your opinions on me, I'm going to call it out and just say to you, look, you and I see this differently. And that way you're going to know that I see it differently, and that I feel like you're trying to force your opinion upon me, right? I'm just using that as an example. There's a million examples that we could use, right? But it might, you can accept a genuine apology and just say, okay, and now we can move forward, right? But if you just shut down to it, then there is no apology, there is no resolution. We carry those resentments with us. Think of every resentment you carry as if it weighs 5 pounds. And you've got a belt around your waist with all these resentments, each 5 pounds dangling from you. And you wear that belt everywhere you go, right? So we don't want to carry this stuff with us. If you're going to be in any kind of a long-term relationship, you have to learn how to be able to navigate those difficult conversations without running away from it and going, oh, well, I'll just won't say anything then. That's not an emotionally mature response, right? So we got to do a little better, and we can do a little better. It's not rocket science, but it is being willing to be uncomfortable and not be so tied to our way is the right way. Okay. So stay in the gray. All the health is in the gray area of most every relationship situation. All right. And don't shut down. And if your partner's shutting down, tell them, look, I get that you want to run away from this. I get that you want to shut down from this, but that is not going to help us understand one another. It's not going to help us resolve anything. And it's certainly not going to bring us closer together. So let's try again. And if we need to try again and come back to it tomorrow, we can do that when maybe emotions aren't so high, but we do need to come back to it. When would work for you? Try that and see how it goes. I hope that was helpful for you. If you like what you heard, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified every time there is a new video posted, at the end of this video, there's one little button you can click in the upper left corner, and you'll be able to get a notification every time we post a new video. In the meantime, if you have not yet downloaded my ebook, 3 Things Women Want Men to Know. This book is for men and the women who love them. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I promise you'll get something out of this. As a woman, you may even just get the language you need to express yourself and what you really are reaching for inside your relationship. I hope you love it. You can go to 3thingstoKnow.com. That's the number 3, thingstoKnow.com. Until next time, take really good care.